Hello students, today we are going to see a demo class. Okay, this demo class is on the topic organs involved in human digestion. Okay, so today I'm just going to teach you what are the organs which are involved in the human digestion. Okay, I hope you can see the PPT right now. Yes. Okay. So first, before moving on to the organs involved, we'll just see, the definition for digestion. So what is the definition for digestion? So you can see here in this picture, the components of food. Yes. What are the components which is present in our food? Number one, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals, isn't it? So these are the components which are present in our food. But these are complex. Okay, these are the complex substances cannot be absorbed into our blood directly. So what we have to do? Substances into simpler one. Okay, so we'll see how we are going to do that. That is digestion. I hope it's clear now. Okay, so now we are going to break down the complex substances into simple substances. That the definition for digestion now, the process of conversion of complex food substances into simple absorbable form is known as digestion, and this can be carried out by mechanical and biochemical methods. Mechanical means you are grinding, isn't it? You are grinding, chewing the food. So that is mechanical. And biochemical. Biochemical means the bile juice, the HCl, the pancreatic juice, all the chemicals are added, isn't it? The chemicals which has been secreted by the living organism. That's why it is known as biochemical. So we are adding the biochemicals. So by this way, the complex food substances has been converted into simple food substances. Okay, these are the complex one: protein, carbohydrate, and fat. The converted into simpler amino acids. Okay, can you is converted into what? Simple amino acid. So the proteins, the simplest, and for carbohydrates, the simplest form is sugars, and for fats, the simplest form is fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, so that is the simple definition about the digestion. Okay, now I'm going to teach you the organs. Okay, the organs involved in the human digestion. Okay, I'm just clearing the slide. Okay, so what are the organs involved in the digestive system? Yes, first one is mouth. Then we have buccal cavity. In the buccal, tongue, salivary glands, and teeth. Okay, palate, tongue, salivary glands, and teeth. Then our food will move on to the pharynx. Pharynx is the common passage for both air and food. Then to esophagus, can you see the esophagus here? Yes. Okay, this is the esophagus. Then the food reaches the stomach. Okay, from the stomach, it reaches to the small intestine, and in the small intestine, the nutrients has been absorbed into the blood. Then the waste will move into. Okay, so you can see esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and the nutrients absorbed into the blood or the blood vascular system. Then the waste will get into the large intestine. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Fine. Now, okay, first one I have told you buccal cavity, isn't it? This is the buccal cavity. This is our mouth, isn't it? So you means a space, the space which contains our teeth, our tongue, and also our salivary gland. And this is our palate. Okay, so the palate, okay, just near to our teeth, the palate is present, isn't it? This part of palate is supported by hard bones. That part is known as hard palate. And on the posterior side, okay, so palate, tongue, salivary glands, and teeth. So palate, I have told you, here it has been supported with bones. This part is known as hard palate, and here you can see it is not supported by the bones. That is known as soft palate. And can you see a projection like this? The extension of the soft palate? Yeah. This extension of this soft palate is known as uvula, also known as velum palati. Okay, so we'll just picture. So this is the hot palate which has been supported by bony ridges, and here you can see the soft palate, and this is the extension of this soft palate, that is uvula. Okay, good. So you can see the soft palate also. This is made up of mucous epithelial cells. Then this is our velum palati. So what do you think that is? Okay, I'll tell you. This uvula or velum palati will cover the opening of internal nasal pores. So when you are swallowing the food shouldn't enter into the nose. That's why this is covering the opening of internal nasal pore during ingestion of food. Okay, then we will move on to the tongue. So you can see this is the anterior part. Okay, first I will tell you the positions. This one is anterior. Okay, I'll just write it here. Anterior position, and this part behind is the posterior position. Okay, and this upper part is known as dorsal, and ventral part, since it is a 2D picture, I couldn't mark the. Okay, it is ventral. So this is anterior, this is posterior. Behind the dorsal we have ventral part. I have explained the position. Now we will see how the tongue, okay, looks like in all these positions. First, number one, anterior. So you can see anterior, it's free, isn't it? The anterior part of the tongue is free. It is not attached anyway. It is free. This posterior part is attached to the bone known as hyoid bone. Okay, posterior part of your tongue is attached to the bone known as hyoid bone. And the ventral side, just hold your tongue and see. You can see a structure, isn't it? That structure, when you are folding your tongue, you can see a connection between your tongue and your floor of mouth. That is known as frenulum linguae. Okay, so anterior free, posterior attached to hyoid bone, ventral side linguae, and on the dorsal side we have, okay, dorsal side of the tongue. That is the upper part of the tongue will have taste buds. So when you are dividing imaginarily, when you are dividing this tongue into two parts, you will have a V-shaped structure is known as sulcus terminalis. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Okay, so tongue. Then we have salivary glands, I said, isn't it? There are three pairs of salivary gland. One is parotid gland, another one is submandibular gland, another one is sublingual gland. Okay, this parotid gland is a exocrine gland. Exocrine means it has duct in it. Okay, duct. The gland which has duct is known as exocrine. Our salivary gland is exocrine gland. Okay, so we have duct present in the salivary gland. The name of the duct is Stenson, and for the submandibular gland, the name of the duct is Wharton. The name of the duct is duct of Rivinus. Okay, and I will show that to you in the picture also. You can see that here. Yes. Can you see the parotid gland? This is the duct of the parotid, and this is the sublingual. Sub means under, lingua is tongue. Okay, sublingual, under your tongue. You can see the duct of Rivinus, and okay, this is Wharton's duct. Okay, that is about the salivary glands. Then teeth. Okay, teeth. For adult, we have heterodentition. Hetero means different types of teeth. Okay, incisor, canine, premolar, incisor, canine, premolar, and molar. So 2, 1, 2, 3 on the left side and 2, 1, 2, 3 on the right side. That is 8, 8. Okay, 8 upper jaw. 8 plus 8, 16. Okay, I'll just type it here. I'm just sharing a whiteboard. Okay. So you can see here dentition or dental formula for adult. Heterodentition, I said hetero means different sets of teeth. So incisor, canine, premolar and molar. Okay, this is 2, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this side it is, left hand side it is 8 and right hand side it is 8. So 8 into 2, 16 in the upper jaw, and in the lower jaw you can see 2, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, again it is 8 into 2, 16. Okay, so totally adult is having 32 teeth. Okay, for children, they won't have premolars and the third molar. So their dental formula is 2, 1, 0, 2. Okay, so that is equal to 5, isn't it? 5 in the left side and right side 5. So it is 10. Okay, and you can see here in the lower jaw 2, 1, 0, 2. Okay, so 5 into 2, 10. So the children will be having, it's clear now. Okay, now I am again sharing the PPT. Okay, I've told you for adult, for children. Okay, so the wisdom teeth, that is the third molar of upper and lower jaw will be 4. Okay, I have told you children won't be premolars. Okay, fine. So you can see the dentition here. Okay, the incisor, the canine, the premolars and the molars. Left hand side, right hand side together. Okay, 16 here and 16 in the upper jaw. Okay, then the next organ is pharynx. I said the pharynx will be the common passage for both air and food. Okay, the air and the food will enter into this pharynx. Okay. After the pharynx, the food will move into the esophagus. Can you see a structure here? This is esophagus, also known as food pipe. The food will move in a movement. Okay, the name of that movement is known as peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movement, which means alternate contraction and relaxation. Okay. Then after the esophagus, we have stomach. The stomach has three parts: cardiac, fundus, and pylorus. Okay, there are three parts in the stomach. I'll just show you it in the picture also. Just wait. Okay, you can see here. This is the cardiac part of stomach, and this region is the fundic part, and this region is the pyloric part of our stomach. Okay. And in the stomach, we have three types of cell. One is mucous neck cell. This will secrete the mucus to overcome the acidity of this HCl. Okay. Then we have peptic or chief cell. This will secrete a proenzyme known as pepsinogen. Then we have another cell known as oxyntic cell that will secrete HCl and intrinsic factor. This intrinsic factor is essential for absorbing vitamin B12. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Three parts and three cells. The three cells are mucous neck cell, number one, chief cells, and number three is oxyntic cells. Okay, fine. Then small intestine. Okay, so you can see here, this is, I have told you, isn't it? This is the pyloric part of our stomach. This joins with our small intestine here. This is the first part of our small intestine known as duodenum. Then the second part of small intestine is jejunum. And the last part of our small intestine is ileum. Okay. So you can see here, the length is 20 feet long. Okay, it has been folded and kept inside our abdomen. Okay, so duodenum, it's 25 centimeter, jejunum 2.4 meter, and ileum, it is 3.4 meter. Then our juice, okay, the bile juice from the liver will come into this part of duodenum. And similarly, I hope you can see the pancreas here. Okay, I'll just draw and show you. Okay, the pancreatic juice will also come into this place. Okay, so this place in the duodenum, we are getting bile juice and also the pancreatic juice. Okay, bile juice and pancreatic juice, and already intestine will also have intestinal juice. Then the next part is large intestine. Okay, this is 1.5 meter or 5 feet long. Okay, and here you can see the first part of the large intestine is vermiform appendix, this part. Then the waste, okay, I have told you the nutrients will be absorbed into the blood. Then the waste will get into this part. This part is known as cecum. Then you can see the colon is ascending up, isn't it? So this part is known as ascending colon. Then you can see the colon is crossing here. So it is known as transverse colon, and the colon is descending here. This is known as descending colon. And then rectum, and the mouth of this rectum we have anus. Okay, I'll repeat it again. In the large intestine, you can see vermiform appendix, then cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, and the descending colon. And at the end, we have rectum and anus. Okay, so these are the organs which are involved in the human digestive system. I hope you can understand everything clearly right now. Okay, so thank you for watching this demo and have a wonderful day.